Going
You can
live.
turn it round slightly.
Oh, yeah. Hiya. Welcome to the live podcast. Sorry, I just remembered the webcam's down there, isn't it? Beg your pardon. I'm on a different laptop today. Welcome to the live podcast. Wrexham drawing 2-2 with Maidenhead United. A frustrating experience. Please don't look at the thumbnail because I look even more freakish than normal. Barton Bank, you are so right. Wow, frustration at the end for Wrexham, who really went for it, but end up again not getting a win. Quite frankly, just to go through the first half, it's not going to take long to go through the first half because not that much happened in it, and Wrexham really didn't achieve very much at all in the first half. It was a poor performance by them. They played a keel right in the hole, an interesting move, which we'll certainly get back to later, because the bottom line on this match was that Luke Young, it was all about Luke Young and a keel right, really. The energy of Young and Wright, but then the contrasting fortunes in the box. Wrexham had a decentish chance in the 5th minute, corner coming in and Wright getting up 10 yards out, looking for the top corner with a header, just missed it. And then Maidenhead took control, basically. They took the lead in the 22nd minute. Wrexham arguing that Akintunde was offside. Looked like a pretty well judged diagonal run to me. The ball was played down the right-hand side. He broke in the box, and there was a lucky element to this, of course. He had no real support. He drilled the ball in, and Young, tracking back into the box, managed to toe poke it into the bottom right corner. Dibble with absolutely no chance, and Wrexham were behind, and there could have been other opportunities upwards with a good break down the right and cross, and see over and Smile attacking it 15 yards out, and totally misses his volley. That could have been a problem for Wrexham. And then Steer bringing in a cross, Casty with a powerful header, which he put well wide at the right post. It was a bit of a grim scrap, but we were not playing well in that period at all, I didn't think.
No, Maidenhead were quite physical. They were winning most balls, certainly the 50-50 balls, won nearly everything in the air at that point in the game. And Wrexham looked second best for a decent spell of that first half.
Massively. I thought Maidenhead were well worth the lead.
Yeah.
We didn't get things going. We weren't creating chances. Like I said, one chance from a set piece. But set pieces were a strength because Young's delivery was superb.
Yeah.
And Wrexham got the equaliser in the 40th minute. I see a comment there from Tardude saying Oswald sounded like he had a decent game. Yeah, he did. And he scored a nice goal as well, his first of the season. But fantastic delivery by Luke Young on the left-hand side. Just ripped it in under the bar. And Oswald got it beautifully to glance at close range header home. But it was one of those lovely directed, whipped deliveries, wasn't it? If you get a touch onto it, you scored.
It was all about the delivery, though. It was sort of 10 yards back from the corner flag, so it gave you the opportunity not to put it too close to the goalie, which he did. You know, he did the execution perfectly, and Oswald just got his head on the end of it, flicked it. You know, next thing the goalie knew, it had gone in the net behind him. Yes. But it was all in the delivery.
Yeah, smashing finish, wasn't it, really? So that was the 40th minute of the first half. Wrexham had one more opportunity in added time, another set piece, but this would have been a complete and utter fluke. Luke Young with a free kick on the left-hand side just tried to swing it in to the far post and put it just wide of the right post. The keeper definitely didn't leave it. He was floundering underneath it and missed it. If it had been in the top corner, it would have gone in. And so Wrexham, I would argue, lucky to be level at half-time. Second half was a massive improvement. I don't want to say battered them, but it was close to it at times. Wrexham took a while to get the rhythm going, but they had an early chance when the Young corner was half cleared. Summerfield knocked it back in. Oswald, 10 yards out, turned, drove the shot over the bar from 10 yards. Then there was another corner. Wrexham with a shout for a penalty. Jennings attacking it in the near post of the defender. The defender fell onto the ball, and Wrexham claimed it was handball. I think it would have been a difficult one to give, but you never know. You look at the replays, if it might be. And then there was the first Akil Wright moment, I'm afraid, just for the hour when Wrexham, and this was a period, the goal felt inevitable. This sparked it off. Wrexham really started penning them in. Summerfield and Young's energy was absolutely tremendous. Grant and Tollett were causing problems on the flank. Oswald was holding the ball up well. Things were starting to click, and Wrexham created some clear-cut opportunities, but sadly Akil Wright didn't find the net with them. The first one, there was a free kick again by Young. It was nodded down nicely at the far post. Young, Wright attacking it 6 yards out, stretching a little bit, but he was very close in, put it over the bar. He claimed he was fouled. It wasn't a convincing claim, and that was a really good opportunity. Young then swinging in a corner, which Oswald got up well 6 yards out, but couldn't get on top of it, put it over the bar with the head. And then a great quick free kick by Summerfield out to the right side. Carrington feeding it down line to Torres. He ripped a wonderful cross to the far post. Grant knocked it back into the goal mouth. It looked like Wright had to score. He was back to goal, but it was, if he flicked it on target, he was going to score, and he turned it over his shoulder and put it over the bar as well. A second good opportunity. But all these happened in the space of 2 minutes, and then the goal came. And there's a lovely goal. Young driving forwards from the left side of the midfield, feeding it into Torres, who played a simple but perfect return pass to him. Young one-on-one with the keeper, slotted it, and Wrexham were ahead. And at that point, 62nd minute, having dominated like that, it looked like we were going to carry on and put a few past them, didn't it?
Yeah, for sure. The hard work had paid off. The dominance that we'd shown when we came out in the second half, winning all the aerial balls and looking a lot brighter and not getting out muscled by Maidenhead has paid off. And they so quickly sort of came level again. And and then Akil Wright had so many chances.
No, we had another chance just after that goal as well. We will come to the comments in a second. We'll just go through the match and then we'll come to that. Had another chance as well. Young swinging in the corner. Jennings with a diving header about 10 yards out, which he couldn't keep down. But then out of the blue, Maidenhead equalised. 66th minute, corner left-hand side. A poor corner, really driven to the near post. It was sliced away to the edge of the box. And Josh Smile, great name, but I don't like him at the moment, just nailed it. It was a wonderful, wonderful finish. Bang, top right corner. I mean, honestly, you couldn't get better than that. And I didn't think we reacted that well to that then. We made substitutions. Redmond and Rutherford came on, and very late on McIntosh as well. But we didn't get that momentum going. If we had have done, we could have put them under pressure. But we didn't. Just a couple more chances. But one of them was a good one that fell to Wright. It was a lovely build-up. Grant and Tollett did well, little back heel, and suddenly Wright was one-on-one with the keeper for 8 yards out, drove it too close to him. Good save, but he should have finished it. It came straight back out to Wright, who really then had to finish. The keeper's on the floor, and he hit the bar and a flick behind for the goal kick. And then in the 5th and final minute of added time, the ref blew up after the ball had gone dead. A free kick launched into the box, was nodded down across the face of goal. Grant in front of an open goal 2 yards out, but it was bouncing to about head height, and he couldn't reach it with his head. Tried an acrobatic volley. Any decent sort of contact he scores, but it was very difficult, I would argue, and he didn't get a proper touch on it, and it just floated away wide, and that was that. And frustrating, but I mean, all right, we didn't play. I don't think we can blame. We didn't play well in the first half, and then we didn't take our chances in the second.
No, we didn't play great in the first half, but went in level. Good goal. Second half came out, played a lot better, and then they got let back into the game with that equaliser that was a cracking goal. But after that, they just crowded us out again, out-muscled us. And I think the frustration was starting to show and the passes started going astray. And chances came and went.
Yeah, to say about Maidenhead very quickly as well. I mean, they were very hard-working. They're a big, strong team, and their energy levels, they managed to keep going pretty much throughout the match, and that was something to praise them for. They did pretty well there. So, credit to them for that. I know it's been a very Wrexham-centric view of it, but there's 2 teams in a game. Look some of the comments. There's a pattern forming on a couple of them as well. Well, beg your pardon. There's a question that we can answer here. Kev H said he's late on here. Where were Harris and Hooper? Well, Hooper's not fit, and I don't think he'll be fit for a few games yet. He injured his muscle, or not his muscle. He's got one muscle. He injured a muscle. I'm not quite sure which one. It might have been Gary, it might have been Steve at Hartlepool. So he's not fit at the moment. Harris has been called up for the Wales under-21s. Now, as both Welsh under-21 games are at the racecourse, and the first one's on Friday, Wrexham were hopeful that they might be able to negotiate with the Welsh FA and get him available for this match. We're not so worried about the Ayr game on Saturday. But we didn't manage to do that. So that's where those 2 were. Okay. Other questions. Well, there's a difference of opinion on Luke Summerfield. Alfie Parry said Summerfield was terrible tonight, but then a little bit further down, Charlie Wills says, Summerfield didn't stop running. What was your take on Summerfield?
He didn't stop running. I don't think he was terrible tonight. I don't think you could. I certainly wouldn't level that at Summerfield tonight. It's one of those really frustrating evenings where you can be really industrious and nothing comes off. And I think as a team they worked hard as well.
In the first half, I thought he was under par, but pretty much everyone was.
Yeah.
In the second half, I thought he put a lot of effort in, played some neat little passes. Young took the reading role more.
Yeah.
But I didn't think he was that. I don't certainly think he was that bad.
I don't think anybody was great in the first
Yeah,
half.
no, that's absolutely right. Mike Fondop's the other subject. He scored again tonight, and there's a few comments about Mike Fondop. I had to sneak up to the top of the comments. Now this guy with the complicated name, I think he was called Sean, if I remember correctly. Fondop 5-5. He scores when he plays. And then other people, Fondop, Kev H, arguing the opposite, Fondop 4-21 as well, because he didn't score a lot for us. Barton Banks saying Fondop scored for fun when he started with us, then faded. He did the same at Guiseley before he joined us. That's going to be the line I'm going to take, by the way.
Yeah.
But
I remember seeing a lot of comments on social media when he left, and most of them were like, "Yeah, good move. He's had a few good games, but he did that with he's done that with everyone."
I think firstly,
would we be even bothered about Fondop if we'd had a couple of decent results in the last couple of games?
Well, that's very true. It would just be a little side effect event, wouldn't it? Really, you're quite right. I certainly think a lot of people are quick to criticise the management at the moment. Well, this isn't an issue to crucify them over, because absolutely nobody was saying that. Oh no, why we let Fondop go? Everybody was unanimous that we'd done well to get him off our books. Would you swap Fondop for JJ Hooper? I wouldn't.
No.
I think Hooper's a much better striker. As Barton Banks said, this is Fondop's pattern. And last season, we had a very easy pre-season against much lower level opposition. He got his confidence up, scored a few goals, carried it into the season, and then it fell apart. And 3 different managers didn't fancy him. Technically, he's not a great striker, but he's got pace and strength. He doesn't really read the game that well. I don't know. I'm personally saying
I think that's more of a reaction to what has happened here than what Fondop's doing, actually. And I genuinely think if we'd had the rub of the green or got more joy out of the last few results, yes, it would be a source of discussion, but it wouldn't be so prevalent.
Well, Kev H actually saying McGlashan's at Chesterfield too as well. Yes, and apparently they're quite pleased with him as well. So, maybe with the full pre-season, McGlashan's shown a bit more. He didn't show much for us. Barton Banks saying, to be fair, swap Fondop for JJ at the moment because he's fit. But yeah, fair enough. Well, but come on. I mean, I wouldn't pick Tommy Bamford ahead of Fondop at the moment. A couple of people asking about, Cameron Minshall, beg your pardon, Hughes out, and Robert Surrey. Has Hughes got to go? I think it's a bit early for that sort of stuff to be going on. I think the squad looks like it could gel. I've always been a bit skeptical about how good this squad is, but it's got something that could gel. I don't think you can. This is a bit too soon, I would argue.
Having had a season where we've had 3 managers, I just don't see the merit in getting rid of the manager so quickly.
Yeah.
We just landed in September, and some of the things that have happened, sendings off, own goals, you can't blame the manager for that. And I know the manager sets the team up, and somebody said to me after the game, you can't blame the manager for Akil Wright missing 3 sitters. Well, you can if you play him in that position.
Yeah,
okay. I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay, the manager put him there, and I disagree. I think he would have been better as a holding midfielder, like you said before the game tonight. Is it time to start talking about getting rid of the manager? No, it's too soon for me.
I'm inclined to think,
and I want us to succeed.
Yeah.
Desperately, like everybody else, but I just don't see the benefit in kicking out another manager and opening the revolving door once more on the manager's office.
Well, Kev H says, give Hughes a chance. What do you think we'd get if we sack him now? There isn't a queue for this job. Watch out for someone to type Dean Keats in a second. It's too soon, I think, to be jumping into that sort of thing, I would argue.
Well, there's a lot of comments as well that, we should never have hired Hughes in the first place. And, he wasn't experienced, this, that, and the other. Whatever your opinion of that is irrelevant now because he is the manager. Yeah. And you don't say to yourself, right, we're going to hire the manager who's inexperienced and then kick him out 9 games later because he's inexperienced and he hasn't had the results. You either stick by him and give him the time. And I'm not saying by any stretching the imagination, you have to go through a whole season like that. But I just think it's too soon yet.
I think so. A few people are saying about, maybe we need a bit of fine tuning and it'll click.
Yeah.
And I think that's feasible. And I think Hooper is a big loss as an injury. There were some interesting points as well, though, made. Well, there's comments here. Adam Davis, I think Rutherford needs to go. There's no end products to his game. And somebody was agreeing down there, James Waterhouse. Can I? All right, I agree that it's an issue when you've got an attacking player who doesn't have a lot of end products. He has stacked up some decent assist figures over the last 2 seasons. I will say that. If I can link that to something else as well, though, about the fine tuning, I don't like this 4-2-3-1. I'm not against 4-2-3-1, but the way we're doing it, where we're encouraging 4 players to stay up the pitch a lot, and the player in the hole is not encouraged to come back. We've gone from being too defensive to being too attacking. And I'll address your point in a moment, Sean, if it was your name, about the defence not needing to gel, because you're quite right. But
so that's a managerial setup, though, isn't it?
Well, yeah. But I got very excited when I saw the team, because I thought Akil Wright was playing in the hole, and we've gone back to 4-3-3, which I think makes us more stable. I think some of you Young have started the season quite well, but they're getting outnumbered. But we hadn't. Wright played in the hole, and then you guess what you always get with Wright in the hole is that basically he has the attributes to cause problems, but not the skills to finish the chances that he's created. There'll be some games where it'll work, and you'll think he's wonderful. And he put a lot of energy into his efforts, but when he gets in the 6-yard box, and he does that quite well, he's not a finisher. So I would like a 4-3-3, and I think that could be the little bit of titivation that's needed to make it work. That's not swearing, so back off. And Rutherford could come into that, I think. I think, firstly, if we're going to build on last season, Rutherford being what he is now, coming off the bench and being a squad player is maybe appropriate if we're stepping up the quality. But I think Rutherford's better as a midfielder, box-to-box midfielder. I think he did well when we used him like that last season. And I just think that as a backup box-to-box midfielder, there's not the same imperative on him to score goals and create chances. So, I like Rutherford. I think he's a reliable bloke who can play a number of positions. But I do take the point that we're looking to inject creativity into our side. He's got excellent movement, but he's not going to give you many goals. I do understand that. When it comes to defence as well, Ollie J saying,
disagree with anything you said there.
Yeah. Oh, well, thank you very much. That's very kind of you. Ollie J says, I think Kieran Kennedy was a big part of last season, because Sean was saying that, we said about gelling. Yeah, but the defence shouldn't need to gel. It's already excellent. But that's the problem. That's what I meant before. We've gone from being too defensive to too attacking. We've defending is not just the back four and the keeper, is it? It's how your whole team is as a block when you're defending, and the midfield is now got fewer people in it and doesn't cover as well. It's simple as that. And so because of that, we're open, and the defence is letting goals in.
So how long is it before you go and whisper in somebody's ear?
I'll whisper in your ear if you want me to.
No. Yeah. How long do we play this formation for before somebody realises this clearly isn't working? Because we've gone with it again tonight. Is this something that we're going to persist with for a while?
No, I'm not in the management team, so I can't really say, to be honest with you. Certainly, Owen Roberts saying the best formation 4-1-3-2. Yeah, I think insofar as that's a holding midfielder. It's like a sort of diamond-y sort of thing. I think we've got some quite good wide strikers, so I'm not sure where, say, Tollett would fit into that. But I like the idea of a holding midfielder making us a bit more secure. Adam Davis as well. I think we're going to miss Doug Tharm, and I was thinking about this with some of the on-loan players and wondering, Sargent and Thorne had good preseason. Don't think they're quite ready yet, but they're not bad options in terms of versatility. And Tharm also I might have given a chance. Bruno in 3 at the back.
Okay, I'll go with no on that one.
I don't.
At the moment, no, definitely not.
All right, if you go 3 at the back, where does Tollett fit in? Because you can't play him as a wing back. If you play your 3 at the back, Jennings is left wing back. That's great.
Yeah.
Where's your right wing back? People say Rutherford. Rutherford can't defend. I like Rutherford, and I think 3 at the back. I think they worked on it as a sort of kitchen sink move, so that maybe we'll late in games, if we're chasing, play 3 at the back and have Rutherford as a wing back, but he doesn't have to defend much. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Carrington, I like Carrington. I love Carrington, but I don't think he's an energetic get up and down the line.
I think if you're playing 3 at the back, you've got to be quicker than he is at the moment.
You need someone thrusting and fast, but you can also defend a bit. I'm really not convinced we got the players for the 3 at the back. Someone there you are. I saw a comment says, I think you're Sean. 4-3 at home, 4-4-2 away. Maybe so. For 4-4-2, it's almost like we were reacting against certain formations. 4-4-2 was so dull 2 seasons ago that we refused to go back to it. I don't know. It could work, couldn't it?
Well,
we got the players to do it.
If we're being really, if we're being really honest about it, what we're playing at the moment is not working.
Well, I mean, looking at some of the comments here as well, I mean, there's mixed opinions about Oswell, who I see as a good backup.
Yeah.
The formations we're talking about, there would be 2 up front. Who are our 2 strikers then? Oswell and Hooper, I guess. Oh, beg your pardon, Hooper or Grant. Hooper and Grant.
Hooper when he's fit.
Hooper's automatic. Yeah. Hooper's a good striker.
Yeah, Grant. I said in commentary that you've seen more of him than I have. I'm still not convinced at the moment. I don't know. I think there's sides to his game that are very risky.
What do you mean?
There was a couple of instances tonight where he's playing the man, not the ball, and getting himself into all sorts of situations.
Well, the red
picking
cards.
up cards. Yeah, but he's done it tonight when he didn't even need to.
Yeah, the red card over was really stupid, and you think, that's all he's learned from that.
Well, he clearly hasn't, because he's picked up bookings since then.
Yeah, well, Foley Tomasi was running the ball out for a throw-in, and right near the end of the game, it might be getting towards. I could tell you the time. Why am I guessing? It was the 81st minute. I make notes. I'm sad. And Grant got frustrated by what he was doing and grabbed him by the shoulders from behind him, was like pulling him round and pulled him to the floor, and the referee rightly booked him.
Yeah,
I don't think the defender was doing anything wrong. It was just he was frustrated that he was getting run out for a throw in. It was a bit daft because you're putting your hands on someone, and then about 10 minutes later he tackled him late, didn't he? And the ref could have given a second yellow for that. I think probably on balance, probably right not to, but it was a close call. It's a late challenge. I think he's going for the ball and that saved him, but he was late.
What I'm saying is, you see, do we pick somebody over? Do we pick him when he's a liability like that, or do we pick somebody else? I'm yet to be convinced.
Sean, they're saying that Grant isn't an out-and-out wide player. Yeah, and something that pleased me a little bit today. Pardon me, well, that was good. I felt that we've gone. I moaned about this on Saturday. Too narrow. Wide players just coming in narrow too soon.
Yeah,
and it comes congested in the middle of the pitch. I like the Tollies was given a bit more width in that respect. He was coming inside, but he can go outside as well. And Grant did to some extent, but I think that's why they use Grant wide, because he'll come inside and join in as a striker. Remember last season when we used Holroyd essentially as a second striker, and we tried to do it at the end of the season, didn't we? 3 players up front supposedly, but when the ball's on the right, the one on the left becomes a second striker. We did that quite a lot. So
yeah. I mean, Tollitt did come in quite a lot tonight. Although I actually thought he had a really good game for the most part. But yeah, I'm used to watching Wrexham teams where they fly down the wings and use the whole width of what has always been a good sized pitch. And yeah, I don't know whether we're making the most of that at the moment.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I mean,
I don't know. It's just frustration all around, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
And I think when we've had a run of results like this, we've all got opinions about how we're going to fix it and which players should be picked to fix it, and it's really difficult. And we're all armchair managers, aren't we?
Yeah. Jennings gives good width, but
you can't fault his work ethic and you can't fault his effort. And for the most part, his product's not bad actually, and his crosses were decent tonight.
Yeah, I did okay, didn't he? Yeah. Pardon me. I'm going to stop in a minute because
you're going to have to take a sip of the old.
It's all gone, mate.
Oh,
no, it's not. It's all gone, mate.
It has now, all over the equipment.
Yeah, don't worry about that. It's all cheap nonsense.
No, that's just the stuff that comes out of the mic.
I think I may have made
my mic anyway.
I might have had a YouTube moment there. David Wilson would anyone welcome Keats back. That Kev Hughes accusing me of spilling my gin. I assure you that was vodka, sir. I love Dean Keats. I think he's great, but I think it's fair that Hughes is given the opportunity. A couple of people, or was it Adam twice, saying that Devontae Redmond was a big miss today. He needs to show more for me.
Yeah, you're not convinced by Redmond yet, are you?
He's had to finish 90 minutes, so why is that? He's a type of player we need to make this a 4-2-3-1 work. But I think he's been very up and down, and he needs to find a bit more consistency. He's a young lad as well, to be fair. So I mean, maybe that's part of it. He did get injured in pre-season. I don't know if that affected his match fitness, but he should have match fitness by now because he's started every game before today. So.
Yeah.
But he's got something, Redmond. I think. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to crucify the.
Well, certainly in pre-season, him and Hooper looked really, really good.
Yeah, and Hooper's movement helps him as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. Kirky talking about Brian Hughes blocking the fans on social media, but we talked about this actually in the commentary. When you got, it's always going to look bad when people screenshot that they've been blocked, but you know,
but there's a simple answer to that. He needs to come off social media then.
Well,
because as the manager, do you really want to be on social media? You can't win.
I saw Bottom Bank's comment, but I wouldn't. I mean, for me, if you got abused on social media, you block that person, you know. And I know maybe some people were liking comments that weren't pro Hughes. I understand that, but then if you're tacitly agreeing with something, if you're liking it, well, maybe more than tacitly. So I can understand someone's right to say, "Oh, I don't like that."
Is it? If it's, I think it's one of those things. If you're on social media, you have to, to an extent, have to take criticism as long as it's not abusive. Then fair enough. I think the fundamental question is, if you're the manager, why do you want to be on social media?
Well,
you might have been on social media prior to becoming the manager, but as I said in commentary, I think at that point, if that was me, I'd probably think I don't actually need to be on social media.
This isn't North Korea, Rich. We're free men. We can do what we want.
We are free to come off social media as well. Though.
I'm free to come off this broadcast in a second as well because I'm joking to death. But Barton Bang said no matter how profligate our players are, they could find their mouth with their drinks, Mark. Well, isn't that the truth? And on that bombshell, we'll put this out as a normal podcast, but they won't get to watch me pouring water all over you. That was the best part of my evening.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to be wearing that all the way home.
Cool. And on that bombshell,
we're off to the scent.
Are you? I didn't get invited. Fair enough. I'm off to edit the highlights. That'll be fun. Hey, tar dude. tar dude. Nice comment. Right. We better scarper. Adios, muchachos. Oh, it hasn't ended. Look at that. It says, do you want to end? All right. So I reckon they can still see us.
They probably can.
I always think webcams are there.
No,
but
that
one's
down there.
It's
yeah,
there.
that's
Look at
really,
that. It's really off-putting, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're too close to me. I don't like it.
Oh, okay.
Hey, look, people still making comments.
Are they?
Yeah.
Well, get off. I thought you'd gone.
Yeah. Cheerio. I'm going home. Yay.